Hello again, everyone. I'm Freddie Mac here for Okie Archaeology. Glad that you all joined me, and this is episode 1. I know it's been a long time coming. Had a lot of things to do, work a full-time job. So these first videos of the channel will be kind of a baseline of the things that we're going to do. We're starting in our home county of Okmulgee County, Oklahoma. We'll branch out from there, other small towns, what have you. But we want to start out with the Okmulgee County Court House. And then we'll kind of get into how things were around statehood and venture out from there. I'm really glad you got to join us, and I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you and have a very safe New Year's Eve. God bless. Well, the year was 1907, and Oklahoma had just become the 46th state in the United States. The lawmakers had surveyed the land and named all of Oklahoma's 77 counties. Earlier that year, the powers to be in Okmulgee Indian Territory held their respective election and chose the first elected officials for the soon-to-be Okmulgee County, Oklahoma. They had everyone they needed to begin the business of running a newly founded county, except for one thing: a place to conduct business. The very first county commissioner meeting was held on November 16, 1907 in the offices of the county attorney, Joe S. Eaton, in the First National Bank building located at 101 West 6th Street right there in Okmulgee. Present were T.E. Richardson, Commissioner from the 1st District, A.K. Hendrickson, Commissioner from the 2nd District, and H.B. Martin, Commissioner from the 3rd District. Also, F.H. Hollingsworth, County Clerk. A ballot was taken up among the commissioners for chairman, and H.B. Martin was unanimously elected. There were a few other items on the agenda, like appointing some local physicians and the county judge to serve as commissioners of insanity, and to approve bonds for Constable Elisa Sherrill, Sheriff William Edgar Robinson, Judge J.L. Newhouse, and Justice of the Peace A.J. Russell. The second meeting was held on November the 18th, 1907 at 9 a.m. to approve some more bonds and adjourned until the next day. On November 19, 1907 at 9 a.m., the board reconvened and approved the bond of Justice of the Peace J.B. Jones for the Henry Township. They also had a contract to approve. A contract between Principal Chief Modi Tiger of the Creek Nation, party of the first part, and Chairman H.B. Martin of the Board of County Commissioners of Okmulgee County, party of the second part. The contract basically spells out that the Creek Nation agrees to lease out the Creek Council House and its grounds to Okmulgee County to be used as a courthouse for said Okmulgee County. In that contract, it was agreed that the executive office occupied by the principal chief is reserved for his use and is not included in the lease. Also, that if there shall be any meeting of the Creek Council in the future, the council shall have the right to meet in the rooms heretofore used for that purpose on the second floor of said building. In the contract, Okmulgee County agreed to pay the Creek Nation $1,000 a year, and that if the building would ever be sold, that Okmulgee County would be out upon a 30 days notice, and that Okmulgee County would cover all needed repairs to the building. The county commissioners voted to accept, with only Commissioner Hendrickson voting no. The last item for this meeting was to make some temporary office assignments in the First National Bank until the council house could be made ready to move into. County commissioners and county clerk would occupy room 10, First National Bank building, sheriff number 4, same building, then the board adjourned. In the days that followed, the county offices all moved into the Creek Council House and began conducting county business there for several years to come. Well, it seemed that the fun was just beginning. In 1915, the initiatives to get a courthouse built were beginning. Now, before the first bond elections were held, the county commissioners of 1915 had been in communication with some unknown architectural firm and had come up with a preliminary sketch of a proposed courthouse. The sketch was published in the Okmulgee Daily Democrat on Sunday, March 28, 1915. It surprisingly does not look much like the one we have today and sported a large tower right in the middle of the roof. This sparked a lot of controversy with the local folks, and several accusations were flung about, saying that the commissioners had drawn up a contract for courthouse bonds at 5.5% with a local businessman and was considered wrongdoing, since the bond election had not yet been voted on by the citizens of the county. I believe these events were part of the reason the whole matter wasn't settled for another year. On April 6, 1915, two issues went before Okmulgee County voters. One was, do we build a courthouse? And two was, do we pass a bond issue to pay for a courthouse? Well, the question of do we build a courthouse passed, while the bond issue did not. And there may have been another election to try to pass it again. That part I'm not clear on, but it never passed anyway. The whole thing kind of floundered for almost a year. And even then, there was a lot of debate about it. Should they pay for the site to build the courthouse on? Should it be given to them? There was a lot of offers on the table, but they were all for cash money. Well, eventually, James Parkinson said, hey, I'll give you the site for $1. You either build it there or you don't. And I believe that's what got it back on the ballot ultimately. On March 14, 1916, the whole thing came back up for re-election finally. And it passed with flying colors, but a whole lot of stuff had to happen there in between. And most of that stuff was the cost of the lots that were offered. The Baker site was $13,000. Originally, the Parkinson site was $8,000. And they were all for money. And Parkinson came down to $3,000, and a lot of things happened. And finally, Parkinson made the offer for the free site. And after much deliberation and study, they figured that was probably just the best idea to get it back on the ballot. The bonds would be for $125,000 and would be auctioned off the following month. There were at least 4 sites that were offered for free to the county as prospective homes for the new courthouse. First was what was called the Parkinson Site, located between Okmulgee and Seminole Avenues on the south side of 7th Street. The second site was known as the Baker Site, located at the northeast corner of 5th and Grand Avenue in Okmulgee. But you know that site now to be the location of the Grand Oak Post Office, built around 1918. Third site was the original jail site near the intersection of Grand Avenue and 7th Street, and it was also offered for free. And finally, the site referred to as the Red Barn Site, but I have not found any detailed information about that location. As you can imagine, there was an advisory board formed to advise the commissioners on where to build the courthouse and how to build it. After the advisory board received all the offers, the commissioners met on May 1st, 1916 to consider, decide, and announce their decision for the site of the courthouse. That decision was the Parkinson Site. When all the proposals for the sites were turned in, the Baker site proposal was turned in late and was not considered, so the legal action ensued. And there was talk of legal injunctions being filed so that the Baker site would receive more consideration, and so an appeal was filed. So on December 27, 1916, Judge Ernest B. Hughes decided that the building site for the Okmulgee County Courthouse was yet again and still the Parkinson Site. The date on which the construction of the courthouse beginning has not been uncovered, but it was soon after the decision. Once the court case was filed to contest the location of the courthouse, papers were served upon the construction company to halt construction on the courthouse at the Parkinson site. Just a short time later, though, however, the judge once again ruled that the Parkinson site would be the site used, and construction continued. But before any construction could be done, the bond to build the courthouse had to be auctioned. And so on Monday, April the 24th, 1916, in the courtroom at the Creek Council House, the auction was held and conducted by Commissioner C.E. Cover. E.W. Kimbley, the guardian for Katie Fixico, a local Native American girl, won the bidding for the courthouse and jail bond. Now, Katie Fixico was a local girl, Native American member of the Muskogee Nation tribe. She recently become very wealthy due to her brother passing away and leaving her property and oil well rights. A court case was filed, and Mr. E.W. Kimbley was appointed as her guardian to oversee her financial affairs. But this is a whole nother episode. We'll get back to her later. Kimbley won the auction for the courthouse bond in the amount of $132,650. But later, the newspaper published that Kimbley submitted a certified cashier's check to the county clerk in the amount of $133,379.12. That covered the price and the premium of the bond. The bond itself paid out at 5% per annum, payable semi-annually and due 25 years from its maturity date. That meant that the county had to pay two payments of $3,316.25 a year to Katie Fixico until the maturity date of April 1st, 1941. So Katie would receive about $165,812.50 in total once the bond was repaid. That's a profit of about $32,433.38 when all said and done. But for the time, that was a pretty good investment. And that was a drop in the bucket for Katie. On April 4th, 1917, the United States entered into World War I by declaring a state of war against Germany. This might have slowed the progress of the construction, but it didn't seem to. On March 10th, 1917, at 2 p.m., the Okmulgee County Commissioners held the occasion of the laying of the cornerstone of the courthouse. T.T. Blakely, Secretary of the Chamber of Commerce, was in charge of the proceedings. Also in attendance were W.B. Hudson of Henrietta, Mr. R.G. Creekmore of Morris, Reverend John R. Abernathy of Okmulgee of the First Methodist Church South, Harry Hart, Chairman of the County Commissioners, County Commissioner Charles C. Odell of Morris, and W.W. Wood, President of the Bar and the oldest lawyer in Okmulgee County. A squad of Boy Scouts were lined up against the foundation wall behind the speakers. Professor Creekmore brought the greetings and congratulations of the east side of the county, and Commissioner Odell referred to the many branches of public work now going on or about to commence in the county, and spoke in the highest terms of the many county employees who are engaged in carrying on the extensive business of the county. Well, the work churned on, despite America being pulled into the Great War, and they just kept right on building the new county courthouse. On April 19, 1917, one of the Okmulgee newspapers published a short snippet reporting that the concrete for the second floor was just about completed. And then the newspapers reported on August 30th, 1917, a near tragedy struck, that after completing the first section of roof of the courthouse, that some supports gave way and a 60-foot section fell onto the fourth floor. Now, no one was hurt, and they reported that the damage incurred would soon be repaired. On August 22, 1918, the Okmulgee Chieftain newspaper published a lengthy article titled, "Our New County Courthouse." This article spoke about the new courthouse receiving minor finishing touches and will within a short while be completed. It is a tragedy that there were no pictures of the article, and the author of the article, who is unknown, did a very good job describing the new courthouse in detail. The following narration is a reading of that newspaper article. The new Okmulgee County Courthouse, one of the most beautiful and modern in the state, is receiving the minor finishing touches and will within a short while be entirely completed. The location of the courthouse is one of the most ideal in the city. being situated on what is known as the Parkinson Site, between Okmulgee and Seminole Avenues, fronting on 7th Street. 1/2 block encircled by cement retaining walls is given over to the grounds. The east side of the yard is well shaded by large elms, and during the winter, trees of similar size will be planted on the west side. The lot is being filled in and leveled up, and within a short time, Bermuda grass will be growing in both the parking and yard. For convenience, an entrance has been provided for each of the avenues, with the main entrance on 7th Street. The 7th Street entrance is very attractive, being made up of 3 large doorways equipped with revolving doors. A broad walk and a set of concrete steps led from the street curb to the doors, giving the building an appearance of being strictly metropolitan in every detail. 4 large clusters of electric light globes are to be installed on massive limestone pillars built for the purpose and the immediate entrance of the building. The walls of the entire first story to the floor of the second are built of white limestone. From the second story to the fourth, the masonry is of red brick trimmed with limestone. On the east, west, and north sides of the structure have been placed on high ornamental pillars of stone, which rise from the first to the third floors. There are many other outside ornamental features of the building which serve to make it even more attractive. The windows are encased in a white border of limestone. Light red window screens have been installed which blend in color with the brick walls. And above the 4th floor slabs of figured limestone have been inserted in the brick with a large electric light globes attached to each as a safety measure to be used in case of an attempted jailbreak at night. The rear half of the building forms a half circle, thus affording more space for the district courtroom. 2 large artistic bronze cornices encircle the entire edifice, one being just above the 3rd floor, while the other tops the building above the 4th story. Chiseled in a massive slab of limestone which is cemented in the brick just above the pillars on the north side of the structure is the inscription, Okamogee County Courthouse. The interior of the building is much more beautiful than many people have imagined it would be. The contractors having made every effort to complete the interior decorations and furnishings exactly as provided for in the plans and specifications. On the 1st floor are the offices of the county engineer, sheriff, surveyor, and superintendent of public instruction. Wide corridors lead in from each street entrance, and a spacious lobby has been provided in the front of the building. The walls are finished in smooth white plaster. The floor is of granite, and the stairway, which is one of the most attractive features of the entire courthouse, is made of highly polished marble. On the 2nd floor are located the offices of the county treasurer, register of deeds, county clerk, attorney, and assessor. The walls of this and the floors above are wainscoted in polished marble and finished above in white plaster. The most attractive part of the 3rd story is the district courtroom, which is the very latest as far as courtrooms are concerned. It is of oval shape with hand-tinted walls and ceiling. A decorated white plaster frieze encircles the room just above the windows. The judge's bench, jury box, etc. are of polished marble, while the seats for the visitors are of quartered oak. Another attractive feature of this floor is the Skylight, which is designed from stained art glass. The county courtroom and the offices of the county judge and court clerk are on the 3rd floor. The jail, which occupies the whole of the 4th floor, is reached by means of a narrow stairway leading from the inner room of the sheriff's office. With this narrow passage as the only means of access, the jail is practically mob-proof. The very latest ideas in prison equipment have been employed. The women's and juvenile apartments of 6 cells is furnished with shower and tub baths, with lavatory and toilet to each cell. The men's department, divided into colored and white sections, can easily accommodate 20 persons. These cells are also provided with lavatories, showers, and toilets. Well-equipped hospital ward has been installed for the care of any prisoners who may become ill. The sheriff's quarters and a modern kitchen take up several rooms just off the main corridor. Okmulgee County is certainly to be congratulated upon having awarded the contract for constructing the building from the firm of Krepke Schaefer. For although the contractors lost money on the work on account of the unexpected rise in price of all kinds of material, the workmanship was not slighted in the least, and we have obtained a bargain in a courthouse at a before-the-war price. The taxpayers should inspect the building and see just what they obtained for their money. It will be a pleasant surprise to many of them. Now, up to this point in our story is just to the completion of the courthouse. There's much, much more to this story to tell, like when the elevator was installed, or the fire escape to the old jail. Many, many other things that happened over the years, and, you know, it's an old story to tell because we love our old courthouse. So the rest of these items will come in later episodes. Meanwhile, I ask you to enjoy our channel. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends about it, especially if they enjoy Okmulgee County history, and even more especially if they love Oklahoma history. We'll be spanning out before you know it. Eric and I would like to say thank you for watching. God bless you. God love you. Stay tuned to the next video. Have a wonderful new year.